Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for joining us today. It's actually an honor to have such a vibrant community of professionals here for our webinar. My name is Alex. I'm CEO of Yung Sidekick, and I'll be your host for today's session, when we'll explore the intersection of technology and therapy and the transformative impact of AI in our industry. Let's start with some facts. It's not a secret that, mental health professionals are significantly overwhelmed, high caseloads, excessive paperwork, direct client interaction, like you name it. All that is leading to burnout, with many therapists leaving the field. And actually, data shows that therapists spend roughly 20% of their time on administrative tasks, and 36% report burnout due to caseloads and work conditions. And let's stop here for a sec to do a quick poll to check what you think of this. Please take a look at your screens as I launch the poll. So please answer a question that you can see on your screen. How do you think, what aspect of your work do you find most stressful? Select one option and click vote or submit. Okay, let's give it another 10 seconds. Okay, so we'll keep the poll opened. And okay, so yeah, completing a session else seems to be the winner. All right. And that actually proved the point that statistically 70% of mental health professionals in the US say that session notes are one of the most painstaking parts of the job, taking on average 2.5 hours of time weekly. But however, the rapid development of AI technology has led to the emergence of transformative tools that can alleviate these burdens, and that's where services like ours enter the picture. Okay, so here's how the next 40 or 45 minutes will go. I'll start with a brief overview of Yung Sidekick, sharing our vision and the essence of our platform in just like 5-7 minutes. But the core of today's webinar is the real-world experiences. We're privileged to have with us Dr.Moreen Rubin and Tomi Barbour. They'll share their stories with AI session automation and the challenges it has brought to their practice. Following each testimony, we'll open the floor for a Q&A session, so you can write your questions in the chat or upvote questions from other attendees, and I will address the most popular or frequent questions to our speakers. And for those interested in trying Yung Sidekick, stay tuned until the end for details on how to redeem a gift voucher that we will be sharing in the end. And we will also provide a recording of the session via email for you to revisit or share. Okay, let's move to the next part. The story behind Yung Sidekick is, well, pretty straightforward. We, the founders, are mental health geeks with a strong interest in the field for about a decade, with years of personal therapy behind our backs, and one of us being a professional psychotherapist. And coming from the tech world, we were driven to make a difference and tackle problems that hadn't been solved before. And while we were talking a lot to therapists, and kept hearing the same thing, that note taking is tedious and uncomfortable. And since we were already working in AI and mental health tech, we thought, hey, we have the technology and here's an obvious problem, so why not try to solve it? And that's how Yung Sidekick came to be. And today, Yung Sidekick is an AI session note automation platform for therapists that automatically creates accurate progress notes and insightful reports enriched with smart analytics. I will show its core functionality. I will be sharing my screen, and I encourage you to follow my steps while I'm doing that, so you can create an account and get acquainted with the essentials real quick. Okay, Just a second. I just dropped our website address in the chat in case you wanted to do that with me right now. Okay. Okay, so first thing that you'll need to do if you want to start with us is to create an account. It takes less than a minute, and what's most important, no credit card is required. You can start right off. Please feel free to check the website, check the FAQ and the pricing. When you're ready to go, just click this try for free button. Then choose a sign up option. You can choose between, you can quickly sign up with an existing Gmail or Yahoo account or with any other email. So let's say we'll be signing up with Gmail. Next thing is to sign a business associate agreement or a BAA. It's with accordance to the HIPAA guidelines. After this step, we'll be legally protecting all your data. You can read the agreement here. And once you tap agree, the agreement is signed and you're ready to go. As you can see, your account is already credited with 300 free minutes that you can use to try it out. So in order to show the functionality, I will switch to the demo account. Just allow me a second. Oops, sorry for that. Okay, logging into demo account. You can use Yung Sidekick in two ways. Imagine you're starting an online session with your client and you have your Zoom or any other video platform open. So in the tab of the browser, just like this, you'll need to open Yung Sidekick. And when your session with the client starts, you just push a button, like record, select a name of the client, just enter new client or the existing one. You don't have to use real names. Any acronym will do. And you click start. At this particular moment, Yung Sidekick starts to listen to your session without storing any audio file. And after the session ends, you click save, and it will take us, a minute or two to automatically generate several session reports. And each are already progress notes, a detailed therapist and client report, and a transcript. Alternatively, if you don't want to record or if a client doesn't give you a consent for recording, like no problem. We have a feature that we call dictate recap. So after your regular session, just press dictate recap. And after the session ends, you press this button and dictate short summary of the session in the free speech format. You don't have to be structured and nor use clinical language. Based on the session description that you'll provide, our system will generate the same reports. And the important notice here is that Yung Sidekick doesn't store any session recordings, and all the reports that we generate are completely derived of all PHIs. So you don't have to worry about anything. Everything is completely anonymized. So you really need to try it out. It works like magic. So you can register and actually dictate recap of your recent session and see it in action. Okay, so let's quickly check the reports to finish with product overview and continue to our speakers. So I guess the most interesting part, okay. for like each session that you do with us, you'll get a transcript, as you can see, 2 reports, client report, therapist report, and a progress note. All your sessions with the same client will be stacked neatly at the bottom of your screen. Each session has a timestamp and a topic. Okay, let's start with progress note. In progress note, you can find such things like diagnosis, risk assessment, medications, if they were mentioned, symptom description, interventions used, and potential ideas for treatment plan. It's important to understand that everything is generated automatically. You don't have to enter any details. So you finish the session and the report is ready. So all you have to do is just to click copy, open your EHR, like simple practice therapy notes, whatever you're using, paste it over there, and it's done. The next thing is therapist report. Yung Sidekick, with therapist report, Yung Sidekick analyzes the session with the neutral eye and provides analytics and feedback for the therapist. It contains keywords, summary of the session, important facts about the client's conclusions and insights, and a blog that we call, well, a supervision blog, where our AI actually tries to provide feedback for the therapy, what went good, what could be improved, and also suggests potential pathways for the next sessions. The next is client report, and the client report is basically the shorter version of the therapist report. It contains summary, client's request, conclusions and insights, and action plan. And as you may understand, as it follows from the name, you can easily share it with your client if you feel like it. And again, it can be copied and pasted into an email or a PDF file, whatever is comfortable for you. Okay, so this is it with the reports. And the last 2 things here are client story and psychological profile. So this is the section that we provide where Yung Sidekick takes everything it knows about your client, well, anonymized, of course, and puts it into one ever-evolving report that is constantly updated with new data. And you can use it for new ideas and inspiration. And actually, all the information about the client is gathered here. And the last block here is what we call session prep highlights. So this is a block designed to help you quickly prepare for the upcoming session, as it contains the last session summary and the previous session summary, and it allows you to save even more time. So this is it. Like, just to conclude, with us, I'll stop sharing. So to conclude, with us, therapists do their notes 90% faster, can use the reports to gain valuable insights and additional perspective into the therapeutic process, and well, they are never behind the notes again. So this is it for the product overview, and now it's time for us to proceed to our main part. And next is Dr.Moreen Rubin. We'll share how her group practice has integrated Yung Sidekick into their practice. Again, please write your questions in the chat or poll questions from other attendees. After, I will address the most popular or frequent questions to our speakers. Moreen, I'm passing the mic to you. Oh, Moreen, sorry, you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, I promise I'm more tech savvy than that. Okay, so hold on. So I was trying to think about what would be helpful for potential users of this, and I looked back to my experience with my own team. So on the team at Joyful Therapy Group, we have a virtual practice. We're located in Los Angeles. We have about 13 therapists, and And personally, I'm very, when ChatGPT first came out, I was all over it, right? And my husband too. And so we're sort of a AI interested, forward-looking family. And so I was looking for products to make all areas of my life easier. And when I came across, what Alexander created, I thought, well, this is either too good to be true, and in some ways it's magic. So I'm going to talk about my process for bringing it into the practice, and some pros that I've experienced of using it, and then some things that I think could be interesting to look forward to in the future if things decide to go that way. But so the process for bringing it into the practice was, I tried it myself. And it's so easy to use. It's very, very user friendly. I like that everything was on one screen, and it sort of like guided you through the process. And full disclosure, I have, since Yung Sidekick, tried other AI note-taking platforms because I want to use the best note-taking platform out there. And there are a couple ones. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on this webinar. I actually really, really do prefer, and my therapists do too, Yung Sidekick's platform. And there's a couple of reasons for this, which if anyone has questions about, I'm happy to answer. But what I noticed integrating it into my practice was that there was some hesitancy. There were some questions around, is this HIPAA compliant? And will it affect my clients' disclosures if they know they're being recorded? And what if it misses? What if the AI doesn't capture the essence of what I might observe as a clinician? What if it misses tone or isn't able to do a thematic analysis of what's actually something that I would think is important? And so there were I experienced in my practice a lot of resistance to trying it. Even though it was free, even though, it was so easy, I noticed a lot of resistance, and I had to jump on a Zoom and and show people how to use it, right? And I was like, look at this is magic, right? Then they did one session, and now I get text message saying, I'm never taking another note again. Okay, this has changed my life. I love it. And so I really would encourage and invite people to try it, at least, even if there is some resistance or hesitancy or concerns. And if you have questions about that, I'm happy to answer them. So here's what I experienced. It makes life so much more efficient, and time management. It's a game changer when it comes to time management. I also have noticed there's a lot of accuracy with the recall. It's able to capture details that I might have missed or forgotten in a note. And it's, in my experience, extremely comprehensive. It really, I don't know if listens is the right word, but it really listens to what is happening in the session, and without bias captures the essence of what happens in that session. I like its insights. I like where it has suggestions for, follow-up pathways. I think I'm curious about what it'll come up with just as a clinician to compare to what I might think. But also I've just gained an appreciation for its intelligence around how it's able to spit out this information, this insights. It also makes my life a lot more organized. If I forget to copy and paste a note into the system, it has a timestamp, it has a date. It almost looks like a client chart, the way that it's structured. And so I really like its ease of use. In fact, just today, I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot to transfer a client's note from last week. And I could go in there, review the note really quickly, and then transfer it over. And so I think it makes me a better therapist because I use my notes to review what happened in previous weeks and also to track progress. And because this does a really good job of capturing details, I think that it enhances my ability to recall and follow up on certain details. I also really like that it happens real time and that it does a good job with mood and tone. It is able to capture the essence of what's happening in there. I'm trying to think of what else. I like the supervision piece where it talks about, did any interventions elicit resistance from the client? And in fact, what I've done is, because we have eight associates in addition to our therapists on the team, not that associates aren't therapists, but licensed therapists and associate therapists. I've used the reports as a way to show what a high quality note includes. And I've even pulled up session notes to be able to further analyze what's happening in supervision and whether or not interventions worked well or didn't work well. And if a therapist is getting a lot of interventions that elicit resistance, we talk about how to manage resistance and what's happening there, and the framework or the modality. And so I've used it to also enhance my abilities as a supervisor. And the other thing that I think is interesting that I've done, and I'm still experimenting with it, is on my website, I'm always looking for ways to optimize my SEO. And so I've started looking at the keywords that appear most often in my sessions. And I'm like, oh, this is great SEO, right? And so I've started to use that because there are words that I did not think about for SEO, and yet they're appearing over and over and over again in my sessions. And so I'm like, well, if people are talking about this, maybe they're also Googling it. So maybe I'll appear in some higher places on Google. And so I've sort of gotten a little bit creative with how I've integrated it. And there's lots of other ways I've integrated too, which I'm happy to speak about. So there are some, privacy concerns. I'm going to shift gears into some cons. There are some things that potentially, I guess, something could be hacked, but I'll leave it to Alexander to discuss those things. And could be some accuracy issues of like the internet cuts out or whatever, or there's like a recording that stops. But honestly, those things have not and should not deter anyone from using this, because I think the benefits really outweigh those potential glitches or risks that could happen. I am a fan. I'm a raving lunatic fan when it comes to Yung Sidekick. So I'm going to stop here because I don't want to hog the whole thing, and I want to hear, what Tomi's experienced too, and I'm sure everybody else does too. So that's me.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Marian. If you allow, I'll just pick a few questions from the poll. And the first one is, okay, so have you noticed like any improvements or any changes in terms of time management within your group practice? Since like few therapists been using Yung Sidekick, what changed in terms of like time management and related?
Yeah, so definitely notice changes in time management. Also, so sessions getting done the same day. I mean, session notes getting done the same day. Also, higher quality notes for like utilization reviews and insurance reports. And also the consistency of the themes and the style that the note is written in is also very helpful. And so all of those things have improved. And we have a dashboard that allows us to see how many missing notes there are at any given time. And since implementing Yung Sidekick, I have had 0 missing notes. And for anyone who is not using Yung Sidekick and needs notes to be completed for, ethical, legal reasons, but also if you're using it for insurance purposes, that it's sort of a pain in the neck to have to hound therapists to say, hey, can you please complete your note? Can you please get on it? This not only entices people to do their notes, but there's this ease of use, which just makes it like a no-brainer to just do the note, because all you have to do is copy paste. Obviously you have to read it to make sure that it's captured what you need it to capture, and then copy paste. And so it saves time, saves energy, and it's just a higher quality report, I would say. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And I see a few questions from Amelia in the chat, so I'll answer them. So does the AI pick up on the person's body language or tone of voice? For the first part, I'll answer that. So for the first part, no, it doesn't. It doesn't pick up on the person's body language, since we're not analyzing the video. We're analyzing only the audio. And so consequently, the answer to the second part and what Moreen has been also talking about is that yes, we pick up the tone of voice and the analysis, and we analyze patterns of tone, and well, the analytics models are also working partly on the how the person is like speaking. Okay, so
I have something to add. Sorry, just to address this. As a workaround, what I've done in sessions is I've just verbalized it. I'm noticing that you're sitting kind of slouched posture, your hands are crossed, you seem to be tired. Give me language to what's happening for your body. You know, if your body could talk, what would it say? And then this client speaks and the AI does capture that. So that is a workaround so that you can use your observations of the client's body and it gets captured in the note.
yeah, that's actually a great tip. Thank you. Okay, okay. So the next question is, so do you use this like reports to facilitate collaboration and communication among your team members? But I believe you partially have answered it. Okay, okay, okay. Right. So we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes to do, let's say 1 minute, to see if we have any more questions for Maureen. Okay. Okay, I'll answer another question. Okay, Sarah is asking, how do you talk to your clients that their session is being recorded by AI for documentation purposes and address their concerns? Maureen,
Is that a question for me?
yes, yes, yes. So again, how do you
Oh,
to your clients that their session is being recorded by AI for documentation purposes, and how do you address their concerns?
so I have a waiver that gets sent with their intake paperwork. It's a recording consent. And so that gets automatically sent with my intake bundle of paperwork. And then during the first session, I go through the limits of confidentiality, and then I just slip into there. So just so that you know, you've already agreed to this, but I want to verbalize it to you. I do use this therapist tool to help me do my documentation, and it is HIPAA compliant. Your information is completely secure, and it basically records the audio of our session, transcribes it, and then I use that for my notes. If you have any questions about it, you can let me know. And I have not yet once encountered what I myself was afraid would happen, was that clients would be suspicious or it would change the quality of what they were able to share. I have not had a client once say that they are not comfortable with it or that they want something else. Now, if I had a clinical presentation of someone who had a little bit of paranoia or anxiety or had some trauma around this or bad experiences, then maybe it would have come up. It just hasn't come up yet. But I would say that that's case by case. In general, I have not had any issues with it. Also, I think it depends with your own confidence with how you explain that this is something that you believe to be safe. And you know, if you have your own concerns, I would, you know, pose more questions to Alexander about it. But the way that I present it is just as informative, and I haven't had an issue with it.
Yeah, thank you, Maureen. I believe that actually covers it. And I'll add a little something. So surprisingly, it is believed by many therapists that well, clients will react conservatively to the fact of being recorded, but actually our statistics and actually some research show that 2/3 of them tend to react pretty positively, and they completely forget about the fact that the session is being recorded after like 30 minutes in the first session. And on our website in the FAQ section, we have we have links to the research that support this claim. So you can and we also provide suggestions and advice on how to address this topic properly with your clients. Okay, we are hitting our 30-minute mark. And okay, since there are no more questions for Maureen, I think we'll move to the next part. Maureen, thank you very much. That's been incredibly insightful, and thank you for taking the time. Our next speaker is Tomi Barbour, and we have quite a story to share with Tomi because she was actually our first client and she joined Yung Sidekick back in, I believe, July or August 2023. And that's why she possesses enormous experience with us and she can actually share her story how Yung Sidekick or how Yung Sidekick was instrumental in her practice over the course of 6 months. Tomi, hi, welcome. Thank you for taking the time, and I'm passing the mic to you.
Okay, thank you. So I am a licensed professional counselor in Wyoming and Montana, and I connected with Alex over really what I was looking for at the time. I was struggling with my workload at my office, which I had been a partner in for over 10 years. So I was looking for something new. I didn't quite know what it was. And I found this opportunity to interview with him about how, as a therapist, I took notes. And so as a result of that conversation, um, it was really hard to admit that I knew that I was very poor at note taking and I wasn't doing justice to my clients or any of their future providers by the way I was rushing through notes or waiting a week to try to type them up after I'd seen the client. And then this opportunity presented to test AI in my sessions. And so that's way back in July. That's how we got started. And I approached a few clients I thought would be open to it. And we started testing how this note taking application worked. And it was just exciting for me to bring something new into my practice. And then what was really exciting for me is I really felt like the quality of the work that I was doing with my clients had improved. One, because I was free of the burden of trying to get notes in and get them in at the right time and capture everything that needed to be captured. I had a number of clients that were involved in they had a number of team members helping them. So they were involved in the court system or some of the other state involved systems that really put the pressure on me to keep accurate notes when things happened in the right, understanding the sequential order of how those things happened. And so if I'm taking poor notes, obviously that didn't work well. But since the implementation of Yung Sidekick, I don't have to worry about that. And so that's really benefited my practice in that way. And another huge benefit has just been seeing the sessions through someone else's eyes, and the written reports help me see what I'm doing well, what I need to work on. I've utilized the client reports sometimes with clients to help us move forward in therapy. And then one of the bigger unintended side effects that I noticed is with difficult clients that I had seen for a long time and I felt very stuck, I could go back to those reports and get ideas or inspiration to help me move the clients forward. And in that way, it relieved some of the struggles I was having internally with my own. I was worried about my ability to help people. And so this has really inspired me and helped me see where I'm effective. Not only what I need to improve on, but that I was being helpful. And that's what I really needed, I think, in order to move me forward in my own work. Did you want me to talk a little bit how I go ahead, you have a question.
Oh, I actually don't. So Please continue. You were
Well,
saying?
I was just thinking there, I can think of the number of clients I've used and this with, and it's well over 50. And I had one client that was uncomfortable with it, and we had that discussion. And so I don't use it during those sessions. And I've had one client that is distracted by it. And so that just became part of what we work through together. But overall, people are excited. They have very little hesitation. They often forget that it's happening. And unless I bring it up and utilize the client report, most clients don't remember that we are recording.
Mm, understood. Okay. Thank you, Tomi. Okay, just a sec. Okay, so we have a question here. What advice would you give to therapists who are hesitant about integrating AI into their practice?
Well, what advice I would give, I think is just to try it. It's very user friendly, and that's something that's developed over time. So that was one of my concerns at the beginning. You had to upload the audio, and now it's all contained into one. All your reports are there. There's a little clipboard that you click. And I don't know if specifically are the concerns for your own tech savviness, which I think if you can use electronic records and an online scheduler, this will not be a problem. It's very intuitive and much easier to navigate than either one of those programs that I've ever used. And like I said, I don't think clients, from my experience, have had the hesitations that we might have as therapists around incorporating this technology.
Yeah, understood. Thank you. So the next question is, I mean, did any of your clients expressed any changes that they noticed in your therapeutic process over the past 6 months since you started to use AI sessional automation?
I can think of one client in particular that she also is the one that had the biggest hesitation around it or was often distracted by it. But by utilizing the client reports, it was helping her remember session to session what we were working on. And so she could see the benefit for herself. And then I don't know if, I don't think a client has named specifically that this tool has helped me, but because of this tool and the changes that I made because of it, there is definitely a positive shift in my workload and therefore my interactions with clients. And I think that's been noticed by the people I work with, the people that are my clients, and myself. Um, so yes, it's had a very big positive experience or impact in my life.
Thank you. And I believe we'll take the last question in order uh, to keep the time. So, like, what features did you find most helpful in your practice out of everything that Yung Sidekick offers?
Well, the biggest benefit that I can name tangibly is the progress notes, because I copy and paste them right into my electronic records, and my note-taking time, I finish those in between sessions now, not at the end of the day, not at the end of the week, not at the end of the next week, all in one day. And that is a huge relief for me. But also what helped me initially was in the therapist reports there. I think Moreen talked about this. There's a section about what seemed to have an impact on your client and what they were resistant to. And that gave me a lot of guidance, I think, to explore where I was being successful and have an idea of maybe what wasn't landing.
Understood. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Tomi. I'll wait for 10 seconds to see if we'll have any more questions. Okay. So this there seems to be okay. So as we're concluding this webinar, as promised, every attendee today is eligible for a 50 USD gift voucher redeemable on Yung Sidekick. And this voucher can be used as an additional discount on any purchase. To claim your voucher, if you choose to continue with the paid plan after your trial with us, simply open the support chat in the bottom right corner of your Yung Sidekick account and just send us a message like, hey, I'd like to claim my webinar voucher, and our team will take care of the rest. All right, we should be wrapping this up. Special thank you to our speakers, Moreen, Tomi. Your insights and experience have enriched our discussions today immensely. And once again, thank you to everyone who joined us today. Your participation and engagement and question has been invaluable. And after all, therapy isn't about paperwork. It's about truly being there in the moment, listening, observing, and supporting. And just wanted to remind you that that's exactly where our technology can help. And I really hope that this has been useful. Again, we'll be sharing the recording and we'll be sharing the recording of this webinar on our LinkedIn page, and we'll send the copy to everyone who registered. Thanks. Have a great day, and thank you for joining us. Thank you, Tomi. Thank you, Moreen. Bye-bye. Have a great day.